could be different, and the one which is used for manufacturing could be different approval level. So that is example, and almost all documents can be put through this approval management module. Then we have accounting module. Accounting is straightforward. We have purchase, CRM and sales, then inventory management. Then we have a small supply chain management module where we can do distributor and sub-distributor, and they will be able to request, sub-distributor can request the inventory from the distributor and he can issue it, and we see the inventory being maintained between them. And then there is a production module where we can do a production which is assembly based or process based or combination of that along with the okay. And then we have a purchase management module, and there's a leave management part also in that, where we can completely process a payroll and get the various kind of reports required, like EPF collected, income tax deducted, and ESI, etc. Then there are some small module like task management. If we are working on a task, who is working on what task? Even when a support request comes, that can be converted and assigned to somebody as a task. Then expense management, where employees who are traveling can file an expense digitally, that can get approved, and once it is approved, it appears in the accounts as payable. Then a project module is there, where again, this is not a detailed project management module, but a small where you can create a project management milestone, subtask, and then you can complete the milestone and task, and it will show the Gantt chart, project chart. And the quality management is linked with all other aspects. Wherever there is a inventory coming in, for example, a GRN is put up, you can request a quality. Production is done at mid stage or end stage, and you can request a quality, and the quality can be handled from here at single location. And then the gate entry. Fine, there are so many modules, but I think we'll try to understand a process perspective. So for example, manufacturing, and then to do a material planning, and then be able to run MRP, requirement planning, procurement, receipts, and the payment of a vendor. That process end to end. So, and similarly, we see the other process at sales side, which is that you get an inquiry, you are able to report the inquiry in the system, up alert, do the communication, have communication, get alerts about the follow-up inquiry, what inquiry lead, quotation invoice becomes well. So we'll see that part also. So which one you would like to start with, sales or purchase?
So first one question, only one thing the task manager that you have, is it linked with all the other modules? So for example, if I had a sales task, can I generate a task straight away while I'm in CRM? And say, for example, if there is a inventory thing and there is a task that comes out, then can that be generated, or do you have to go separately to the task module and add to that?
Yeah, I think there is a separate module, of course, you can create independently, but yes, not everywhere, but at certain places we have given that. For example, you get an alert, and then that you have to approve a purchase order, for example. You can convert this into a task right from here. So like create a task from this alert, so that you know that I have to work on this, review and approve purchase order, for example. But not everywhere it is not there. But yeah, few places, and this is one of the places it is there.
But mainly in the CRM. So CRM usually has a task module of its own normally.
Yes.
Like you have to follow up something or whatever. I'm saying that is it within is this task manager outside of CRM, or is it is integrated with CRM?
But you can task.
Yeah. Hello.
Ganesh,
Yes.
There is a. I mean, I don't know whether it is for me only or for Mr. Mohan. Can you hear Ganesh clearly or
Now I can hear you.
now? There was a disturbance. Can you just repeat about the CRM task management or the follow-ups that we are seeing?
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. So, sir, you were asking, yes, within inquiries, for example, we do have that task connected. Like you can do a follow-up on an inquiry and you can create a task, follow-up task on it. Okay. So, yeah, we will see. I think we will see all this. I'd just like to know whether you want to start with the sales process first or a purchase process.
Yeah, no, first sales.
Okay, fine. So, whenever you get inquiries, you come and record the inquiries in system. Say, I come to the list of inquiries. I can see all the existing inquiries here, search by company name or contact name. And suppose while creating a new inquiry, if an inquiry comes, I can create a new inquiry and I can update what is the company the inquiries.
Can we see the inquiry list by, let's say, the inquiry owner?
Yes, yeah. In fact, this is how it was. If you go here, you can see, there is a owner. On top, it is not given. But yes, this is the owner of an inquiry.
Okay,
Okay, so who is the owner of that? And you can change the owner as required. So you type in and it shows the matching users. Okay, so this is how we can change the inquiry owners from here. By default, whoever creates the inquiry becomes owner.
Okay,
fine. And let me create one sample inquiry so we see it properly. I say
now let's say if there is duplication of the inquiry. Okay, say a guy from north and a guy from south, both have the inquiry, same inquiry.
Okay.
So in that case,
Ramesh Kumar, I'll just type say. So in the inquiry, these are the minimum requirements. So what is the company, who is the contact details, and we can, this is the optional note on the inquiry can be added here. And then of course you have other detail, phone number, contact detail, designation, department. Even if you have know what are the product that the person is interested, you can just go ahead and this product you can select on inquiry itself. And then so many other details like communication details, address detail. These are all optionals. Okay, so this is how I'm creating this inquiry now. The moment I save an inquiry, I will see the inquiry.
One question. Is there like a client master or somewhere below? Is there, so for example, it doesn't have to keep pulling the addresses. Can it be just populated with the addresses and all that? Otherwise everybody is going to type a different address or a different font.
I agree. There are masters, and for the precise reason that you mentioned. And not only that, then you will be able to aggregate and see how many inquiry from this client, that client, kind of.
So there is.
Yeah. So I'll show you that. Okay. So inquiry for us is we have a concept of inquiry and leads. So inquiry is very initial information. First report coming up to us, there is a requirement. We punch in details, and you will see what you asked. Okay. So inquiry is you punch in on that inquiry, then you keep adding follow-ups if required. You can put follow-ups that meet on Wednesday 12 p.m. Okay, and you can put the details there that we have a meeting. More notes can be added here. So this is one of the follow-up tasks I'm adding on the inquiry that I have to do it. So with this information, what happens is you can create a list of inquiries in the system. You have a register or database of all inquiries that come to you. Some of them most of them will be invalid inquiries or not suitable for you for a number of reasons. But what happens is you create a list of inquiries. So there is a register, permanent register happening here. It gets the inquiry number, all the detail we saw. What else if you have say 200 inquiries in a month and you keep adding the follow-ups to be done on that inquiry, you don't know who to call when unless you have noted it down somewhere properly. So what system does, once you put inquiries, system shows you all the follow-ups to be done by the inquiry. Suppose all the follow-ups I need to work on, open follow-ups on inquiry, my inquiries, for all in, then I can see those follow-ups when, not only that, this emails me morning the follow-ups you have to do today and maybe the next follow-ups to be done in next 7 days. Okay, so system keeps sending you this information. What next you can do is, of course, you have a database of inquiries, you keep follow-ups, the system reminds you. Even some other person wants to know about inquiry, he can go to the inquiry, look at the details, and he can understand what has happened with this inquiry. Even the owner, other than the owner person, can know it. What other features are there on the inquiry? You can
but provided he has an access.
Yes, correct. Provided he has access. That's right.
Okay.
And that's why you see when I click here, I can see only my inquiries or all inquiries, and this is access control, whether who can access all inquiries. Okay. All right. So what happens? Not only that, you can create a standard email templates in system. And suppose I want to email in company introductions. I can set up, there is a master where you can set up email master. You click here, the system, now I haven't added a email address here, but suppose I add an email address on this inquiry. And I want to email introduction. The moment I click here, it will pick up the inquiry email. Okay, this is added. This is the inquiry. Okay, and the moment I select a template, there will be a list of template. The one template I select as a company introduction. And then this detail will be selected. You can put your colleague in the CC if required. This is all optional. There's a template pre-created. You can have an attachment added to this, and you can just hit the send button from here. So this you can put email quick replies, the standard replies can be done.
No, one question. Okay.
Yeah.
Typically, our introduction mail goes with some attachment. Okay, so can that mail with attachment be a standard?
Oh yes, that's what I'm saying. So in this case, now I am jumping the gun and switching back to the company introduction, and I can have an attachment on the introduction email. Suppose I have a PDF document, PPT, so I can attach that, the images, whatever. You can have n number of attachments on the email template. Okay, so that is possible. So let me go back to the inquiry. What happens is, that was a standard template, but you want to email from here also, that is possible, that you can create a generic email and send email back from Now you will be able to see all that conversation here, that what emails, of course you have a conversation about the follow-ups, but you have a conversation of written emails as well. That which email was sent, when, did it had any attachments. So this is the inquiry. Now you get 200 inquiries a month, but only 20 of them are valid. And probably you want to keep a record of inquiries, but you don't want to treat them in importance. You don't want to create master for those and all that. And that's why inquiry is very preliminary information here. What I do at some point or the other, I convert it into the lead. So whether you can decide at what stage you consider it as a lead, but for us, or maybe the Salesforce way, the lead is when you have some important information, like you have at least decision makers information, clarity on what budget they have. Okay, you have a basic requirement and need this product, and then what is the valuation, that what is the value, what is estimated closure that they are at. And then we have a we have kept this optional actually. Earlier, I wanted to keep it as a compulsory. They call BANT detail, B-A-N-T. So B means budget notes, whether they have budget or not. The person we are talking to, who is the authority, whom we are talking to. So we need to know the clear picture of who is the authority who is going to decide. Maybe the person who is not the authority, is a facilitator, but we need to have that understanding clearly. Similarly, there has to be detailed statement on the requirement, whether they are wishful thinking they are doing or there's a serious requirement. Okay, or what is the timeline, and every aspect of this BANT is important. For example, they have all authority, need is there, timeline, they want to do it in 1 week, but they don't have budget. Their budget is 5,000 rupees, and you know that is not, you are not interested. Or they have a budget, there is an authority, but there is no requirement. I mean, they are just evaluating. So you know that that is not a serious lead. Similarly, you might have all three. There is a budget, the person we are talking has the authority to decide it on. There is a complete requirement, but there is no timeline. They want to do it after 2 years. So point is, these are very important details. Those should be there in order to convert this into the lead. So detailed contact details, initial touch, estimated closure date if not perfect, valuation, and BANT details. And then I convert this into something called as a lead. And when it is then inquiry is marked as converted to lead. With this, what happens? You have 200 inquiries coming a month, but only 20 of them getting into the leads. And a management should be concentrating on the leads and not the inquiries. Okay.
Yes.
And then in the leads, what you can do in the leads. So in the lead, I'll open this lead. On lead, you also have a previous inquiries or conversation getting copied here. But you can keep doing the same things here, attachments, follow-ups, but you have a few additional details here. What is the priority for us? Whether it's a old, what is the stage? Whether they are evaluating or now negotiating or they are closer to close down, you can keep. Now, configure every have a stage. You can configure these lead stages. Similarly, from where this has come, whether we went to the event show there in Dubai and from where we got a lead, or did we do an email campaign XYZ and we got that. And of course, you keep changing this, and I'll save this lead. Now, I was saying this is configurable. These are configurable, and this is the setting in CRM where you can put what are your lead stages. Because different companies will have different lead stages. These are the default. You can rename this. You can add, delete all of these and create your own stages. But effectively, this lead stage list should be the one which gives a clear picture of funnel from a serious inquiry to the one which is almost closing in next few days. And then you will be able to get, the moment you categorize your leads in different stages, you will get a sales funnel in dashboard. So like here, you can see how many leads are in negotiation stage, how many are in evaluation stage, what is valuation. And then there are many aspects that you can look by sales representative or by various categories, products. Those are there, but you get a sales funnel with this when you have the leads in various stages. So any questions so far on leads and inquiries and few reporting around?
No, this is good, but the only thing is I did not see the master wherever you were showing that.
Okay, great. Those almost happen automatically. Now I have something called as account master that got automatically created.
Okay.
Account master, it is still not a customer, because when we create a customer, then it creates a ledger in accounting, then you have it in coming in your report. So we don't convert the leads or companies directly as a customer. So there is a master called account master, which is only limited to CRM. And then of course, you know what is the company name, you can add the details. And then on this company, Shriram, you can have a different people account contacts. So you can see Ramesh Kumar is the person for this company, but you can create one more contact for a master. Okay, and this is where now this guy could be from different place. So now Ravi Kumar, and he has a different designation. He's from different address. You can have this kind of thing done. Okay, so this is what is master currently so far. Now, what happens at some other? You can do few more things on the leads. You literally can create a quotation from this. So I go to the quotations tab on this lead, and I can convert this in lead into a quotation. The moment I click there, it will take me to a quotation window, and almost 50% of quotation will be created with the customer contact details, validity. I can select billing details if I have updated address. That will come. I haven't so far. Then I can put a price on this, and then I can share this quotation. Okay, we can have a predefined terms and condition for quotation. We can change those if required. We can have different terms and conditions. I have this default one term, but you can have different terms for different product or different clients if required. And the moment you create a quotation, you can print and see the quotation, how it looks like. We are still on lead stage. Sorry?
Yeah, now here, this is a
Yes.
one page quotation, right?
That's right. This is customizable. You can have attachment to the quotations as well.
Okay. Typically, our quotation is 8 to 10 pages, where the stuff is standard, and maybe 1 or 2 pages could be for the BOQ and pricing. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, which will change from client to client.
That's correct.
So we can have it as a template, right?
Right. Yes. The template is configurable there.
Okay.
And then this is a quotation. Again, it will have its own life cycle. You can keep changing, see the versions. You can do follow-ups, emails. You can convert it into pro forma, invoice, etc. But we cannot convert this into.
Now, let's say the quotation gets revised say 2-3 times, right?
Right.
So you can keep a track of that.
Yes. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. I come here, and this is the price. 6700 is the price I quoted. I'll just the moment I just by saving as a draft doesn't create a version for this. Once it is approved, finalized, and shared with customer, then you have this is the first version of a quotation. Okay.
Okay.
Now what I do is, now I know that they come back and they ask us all the detail. I return it to the draft, and I'll change the price for time being.
And when you go to invoice, it will take the last quotation, right?
Certainly, it will take the latest quotations, and now we decide that we will give it okay. So, and of course you can put one pager details. Literally, this is a Word document. You can more details on this item can be added here. Okay, so we can go on and add as much detail as we want on this. So again, I save as a draft, and some point of time I convert this into I finalize and send it to okay. And now of course behind the scenes system will track this as another version with different price.
Okay.
And if I print this version, I will see the latest. Of course, that is the latest I added. This is with different price total. And if I go and print the older version, you will see the older price and that older version of.
So this has a proposal.
Everything in it.
Okay.
Hmm.
So fine. So we are here. We created a versions. Negotiation got happened, and they finally gave us an order. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Now is the time that you convert that CRM related account with the legal details. So like this is Sriram Engineer. So I go here and I convert it to the customer. Now while converting it to customer, I put a legal name here that this is the company name that is there. Not only that, I want the contact details there.
One thing for when you do the quotation,
Yeah.
is there levels of authority there that can be applied?
Oh yes, yes. We will see. I have informed you about a very first module that is approval, and you can set up.
So you can do that even for quotations.
Yes. Yeah. We will see that as well. Okay. So I go here and just type Pune West. So I search the address and takes the detail. So shift to address is same as build to address, and I save these details and I convert it.
Yeah, because we have many more if the humans are registered. So multiply.
Yeah. So now what happens? In the CLs we have something called as customer master. You will see the entry for that getting into the customer master created here with all the updated details.
Now, one question here.
Yeah.
Now, let's say there is a client called Sriram Engineers Private Limited. Okay?
Yeah.
And they have 5 plants
Right.
across India.
Right.
Now, a guy from South says Sriram Engineers PVT dot LTD dot. Okay? Whereas a guy from North puts in Sriram Engineers.
Right.
A guy from West will enter, Sriram Engineers PVT without dot, LTD without dot.
Right.
So will it take all 4 or does it scan first 2 words and only?
What it you can make whatever perfect system you are, but it is in the hands of people using it. Say, for example, if you mistype a Sriram spelling, nobody can do it. It will create a duplicate customer. System doesn't know that.
No, I'm saying first 2 usually doesn't, go, or first 1 at least. Okay. Usually,
you can search in the master. You can always search by a particular name, 3 characters. It will show you matching customers here.
okay.
This is the case everywhere, sir. While creating item master, while creating suppliers, all masters. Of course, you can't create a duplicate customer. I go here and suppose I type, I want to create a new customer, and system will say this already exists. But you are correct. If I remove this dot, system doesn't know this is same or duplicate.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and this will everywhere. Yeah.
No. Is there anything that if there are, let's say, first 2 words are matching, that means it will automatically take that.
They say master only.
Master.
So if you go into the master, you select 3 words. Session. So then it will show you all the Srirams that are there.
Yes.
And then you have to select the right Sriram.
When you create a new invoice, for example, and you have to select a customer, you are correct. The moment I type couple of characters, system will show me the matching customer list with that name.
Okay.
And
But
so
then
there will be like 5. So correct me if I'm wrong. So if you go into that and you say Sriram and say there was more containing Sriram, then all four will show up there, and then you have to just select the right one, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Now, is it linked with the CIN, company CIN? Now, if somebody has, let's say we close the order, right?
Right.
If we enter the name and the CIN, right? So is there any provision like that? If you enter CRN, then duplication is not possible. The CIN is CIN, right?
So, while creating a master, duplication is not possible. Okay, with same name, and wherever you have to select, what we can do is probably you are asking something like this. Suppose I am creating a customer master manually now. Okay, coming here, or I am putting an inquiry. And the moment I type Sriram, now it is not autocomplete because this is the master itself. But
No. What I'm asking is, what I'm saying is, say we enter the customer name, okay,
Right.
and every company has got now CIN, right? Company identification number. Okay?
Right.
So, is there any provision to put that? The moment we put that CIN, then the duplication is not possible.
Yeah, that is, I think, yes, yeah, that is there. So we have a CIN number, and yeah, we can track it by this.
Okay.
Provided, but this is the optional field, but yes, sir, we can do it.
It's possible. Okay.
Yes.
No, but in
If
that
we are
case,
doing it by name, like if the name matches, we say it's a duplicate, and you are correct. There is a chance of creating spelling mistake, but here it is not. You will just copy paste it.
Yeah.
the only thing is that in the workflow, the person has to go to the field of CIN first. Because if he goes to the CIN first, then he selects the correct CIM, then everything will be populated according to CIM. But if he does not go to CIM, if he goes to the name first, and he does that, then he will get into the problem where he'll have five Sri Rams with 5 CIM. And he might not have the correct one.
So that's why I said no system can protect from human errors. Because driver at the end of day is the human person using it. So you can have a good practice that before you create a master, please search if that entity already exists. Of course, exactly you put not only that, sir. If you create a duplicate, that is all invalid data. The reason is company can have only one valid name.
No. So we can stop. I mean, since we are talking about this, I can tell you, we can easily say that the solution to this is that they don't put in the name of the customer; they just put in the CIM.
That's correct.
And so then that way they have no option but to put only CIM.
That's correct. Yeah.
When they put CIM, then the vendor master the automatic the correct CIM will show.
That's correct.
Directly.
Right. Yes. And fine. Then we will just move on to our quotation. We converted the account into customer. So what happened the moment you create a customer entry in customer master, you get a ledger created in accounting. That, and of course it will be empty now initially, but that's why we don't create customer directly. Only when he really becomes a customer, then only customer entry is created. Till then we play him in the CRM module only.
Okay.
So fine, we'll go to our quotation. This is the quotation. And we can convert this into invoice. Let's create an invoice from this. Now, the same name did not find there because it was against account, that quotation. If it was against a customer, you can create quotation against that. I select that.
So question. Before we create an invoice, does it check with the procurement module that the thing is received and delivered and received or whatever? Or no?
Number one, this is we are sending it to the customer. Of course, there is a cycle in between that you will have their purchase order coming up. You can create your own sales order against it. For example, suppose customer sends you a purchase order, right? So you will create a sales order within a system for your production team or delivery team. So I convert it to sales order first. I put a sales order for this customer. Delivery date can be picked up. If he has given his PO, purchase order number can come here. Okay, will come here. This is the product, this is the price, and I am creating a sales order. And of course, there's no approval on this right now. We can set up an approval, but I'll just finalize it myself. Okay, so this sales order is created. Now, what happens the moment sales order is created? If you are doing a plain trading and all, then fine, you can see stock items available in system against these details. We have a current stock for required items or not, and which warehouses, if required multiple warehouses, and this item is there in different quantities. This sales order, when created, it also sends appropriate alerts to people, email alerts. And what will happen is against this sales order, you might have a rule. For example, there should be 10% paid in advance. So you might send a pro forma invoice or invoice against this. Okay, so you can create a pro forma invoice if required. Once, or maybe you just accept the material. This is all different processes different companies follow, or you'll just accept their purchase order, do the work, do the deliveries. For example, now this is, of course, you can have a manufacturing around this, but I'll make it simple right now, that we delivered items. So you can create a shipment against this purchase order. It takes me to the inventory shipment. And I make it simple here that this is a ready-made item. We are giving it from this warehouse. Okay, this 1,000 quantity. Now, the shipment also, I can have a review approval and all, but I'll just go ahead and just mark it as finalized, as delivered. So with this, you will be able to, suppose you send the delivery and you send the invoice along with this. So you can create a invoice against this dispatch. So I converted that dispatch into the invoice. You might have a terms and conditions for say due days is 30 days since delivery. This is the invoice. I'll just mark it draft, and I can keep saving any document in draft. When I do, I can print and see how it looks like, whether terms conditions are proper, atom description is proper. I want to add this customizable template. But
Okay.
when it is finalized, now I'm finalizing this invoice, and of course, when I did a delivery, it reduces the stock, appropriate stock from system, from the inventory. So here, you can listen to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, since my net is gone. Okay, so this is just a stock transaction report that from this warehouse, this atom got reduced. This was the initial quantity, 5,090. 1,000 was delivered by this shipment from these two batches. And now the quantity is 4,090. And that's why if I go in current stock, Upper Pune West, and see this is the 4,090 is the after quantity. Similarly,
So this unit of measure is a big deal, okay?
yes.
Right now you're not showing any unit of measure, but unit of measure creates the biggest problem in inventories that I've ever seen.
No, I agree. Yes.
How have you managed that? What is it? Can it be put by the person himself?
Yes, I'll show you that. I'll complete this invoice part, and then we'll go to the how to manage unit of inventories, items, and categories. Okay, that's altogether detailed. So I create a invoice against this, and I'll just mark this invoice, save as draft, and finalize. Let me see if I had created earlier invoice. Yeah, okay, so that was there. So the moment invoice is finalized, if I go in the receivable in accounts, I went to the account. In the receivable list, you have an entry that we need to on 10th of Feb from Shriram Engineering, we have to receive this amount against this invoice number. And you can see his ledger as well. This is the balance on this. And suppose if he makes a part payment or anything, you can record that as well. So let me do that. Suppose he makes a part payment.
Oh, so you can see that.
Yes, yeah. So I went ahead and I'm saying that he paid 50,000 rupees.
So at any time you can actually check whether with partial payments are being received or whatever.
That's right. Yes. And then select which account you received it. I'm selecting ICICI Bank here. And when I mark this, that we received this amount, that entry will get into that receivable becomes a partially paid. Yeah, and this will show the 15 lakh as a due amount on this. And if you go and see the ledger, Of course, you can have multiple payments again that single receivable. If I see it in the accounts now, I have only 15 lakh rupees pending here. I have received this. So now this completes our inquiry to. So what we did actually, let me summarize at high level that we saw how inquiry leads can be done, how we can get different reports, how we can convert it and send the quotations also. Then we can convert that to customer, come into the sales module. Then we also did a sales order there, delivered the material against it and added a delivery statement there. And then I created an invoice from sales and it came into accounting. So this is how almost all modules, CRM, sales, inventory, and accounting is linked to each other automatically.
Okay.
A question on this? If not, we'll move on to the question that you had asked, ability to manage the items and units and categories, etc.
No, so it's not related to this, but a separate question is,
Yeah.
obviously in any ERP type of thing, we have we don't necessarily have all the details that are needed by the system to put in, meaning, right? So
Yeah.
because we are a new company, we have to establish. So the question is, how long in your experience has it been to try to get something like that going? Because we also have legacy data that we can't that eventually has to come into the ERP, otherwise.
Yeah. So, Suraj, can you please mute? Looks like you have. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me come back to that. So we normally recommend a phased approach of a ERP implementation, phase wise. So in first phase, we can only have CRM and sales module taken into account and inventory. We don't deal into production in phase one. And accounting also, if you have a tally, continue to use that. Of course, you'll have entries getting automatically here, but you can use those as supporting entries. But you can concentrate on CRM, sales, and inventory.
Okay.
So that is a phase one. That is easiest phase. Then comes either you take a production module or accounting module, and third phase then you take one of the remaining and bring in. If you have many products, you initially bring in only few products on this. If those are settled down, you take the next set of products. So various ways, but essentially is a phased manner. Slowly over the period of every 2-3 months, you let the settle down the one module or 1-2 departments that are on this. Once they are settled down, we move to the next. So this is how it is done.
And what about the legacy data?
Sorry?
Legacy data that the how does that get in?
For example, legacy data means what? Can you give example?
Like for example, we've got right now we have only the tally system, but then other than that we don't have anything except for Excel and papers. So,
Right.
so the question is that data has it to lie outside the system, and then we have to keep working for past data, keep looking at that, or can that be brought into the system for future analysis?
Oh, okay. So there are two kinds of data in a system, any system that you use, okay, whether Excel sheet, Tally, or another system. One is a master data and one is a transactional data. Say, for example, list of customer is a master data. List of stock items that you maintain is a master data. List of supplier is a master. So all the master data can be seamlessly taken using an Excel sheet upload.
Yes.
So we have our own format. For example, customer master.
Yeah.
I showed you that I went to the upload customers. I don't create one by one. If I have 100 customer, I don't create them one by one. So what happens is we use a Google Sheet where you enter all the data in this format and we upload in a single shot. All 100 customers, suppliers, and stock items can get generated in the system. So that is about master data. So similarly, do it for account ledger, groups, customers, item master, suppliers, etc. But transactional data is invoices, for example. Okay, is a transactional data. You might have 100 invoices for a customer since last 2 years, 3 years. So this data, we recommend this data need not come into the system. All you need to do is get a opening balance on the ledger, okay, or opening invoices you can punch in from here, so that you can track them. Or even better, let the invoices get closed in the older system. Only the new invoices you start entering into the new system. So that is the easiest part. Of course, the other part is then you don't get the analytics of last 2 years, because you'll start getting analytics. Like, for example, I went to the purchase module, and if I click on a purchase order, so I can see detail analytics like this. Say, I have one report here, purchase order dashboard. How many purchase orders today? One, value wise. How many month till date? 6 purchase orders. Previous month, last year. So you may not see such legacy data there. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes,
I think
yes.
I think it is clear, and I think it makes sense not to spend a lot of time on past data. Probably close it where it is, and then just
Right.
start it in future.
Start with the new data, building then in the future. Yes. Okay. So fine. If there's no another question, I'll move on to your question. That yeah. So like in a inventory, we have item master here, and you can create as many as you want, one by one. To create item, item name, so and so. I put it here. Auto generated number is there, but I can have a item code generated for it. If required, you can have a barcode system enabled here. What is the barcode of this item? What is my purchase price? What is my selling price? If it is applicable, these are all optional. Here only the name is compulsory right now. Star mark is there. Everything else is optional. Then I have a unit of measure. I only see these unit of measure. I'll answer your question, by the way. I say this is counted in number. I have a movement method. How do I move it? Automatic batch ID gets generated by system, or manual batch ID. I will enter the lot number that I received raw material by one. If I receive 100 items from supplier, and in 3 lot numbers, it will pop up me enter lot number quantity to break that 1,000. But if I say automatic batch ID, system will generate one batch ID for that 1,000 as a one thing. And what is the movement method? Whether it is manufactured in-house, what category it belongs to, one or more categories you can select. And then what is GST, HSN code, etc. And then we also have custom fields. I'll come to that. But the main question was this: unit of measure and categories. So this is all configurable. You can go to the settings and you can create as many unit of masters as suppose I don't use this, you can remove this, rename it. You can create new unit of measure. Suppose I deal in square foot, I want to remove square meter. I can create new unit of measure here. Square foot is what I added. And when I go to the next item, now I will see this option to select. So this is you can manage your unit of measure on your own. In the world, there are 1,200 plus unit of measure. Every business might need 5-10 different unit of measure. They can customize as per their requirement. So this was your question, how those are treated?
Yes, because once they are in the vendor master, in the material master, then those are the options that will come up at the inventory level as well as in the invoices and the PO.
Correct. Yes. And now, same is the case with categories. Now, you might have different category of products. Say, for example, I have a raw material category, then I have finished products here, then I have packing material. But every business will arrange their products differently. They might want to arrange by customer. And I have seen every company arranges the product or categorizes the product as per their requirement. So what you can do is you can create new categories as per your taste. So cat, I can say C1, say customer 1 RM. Suppose if I deal with that customer and I can put this under raw material. So you can create new categories
Yeah.
and create a hierarchy of categories. So what is the use of this? You can arrange raw material of 10 types.
So,
They can have subtype.
so sorry, so I think I got this one. Just to make it a little bit faster because we'll have another appointment after this. So quickly, one more question on this one is that so this is the one-time thing, right? I mean, you're
One time.
okay.
Yes.
And then it cannot be modified because there will be a authority level or other
Yes.
administrative right to be able to edit it.
That's
Now just quickly show me the client master where because on the sales data, because that is an important one. Customer master.
yeah, yes. This is the customer master.
Okay, so show me a blank sheet of customer. Okay, so let's see this.
So this is the customer details right now, and then we have some, say for example, you need 2 more fields other than this. You can create custom fields also additional.
Okay.
GST details and the contact peoples around.
And if we want to do that custom fields and all that, this does not require any configuration or customization.
Configure it on the fly. Admin can do it.
Sorry?
Admin can do it.
Yeah. Admin can do it. Okay. So we don't have to come to you to do that.
Not at all.
Okay, one more question. Now, let's say we get a purchase order in dollars.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how do we deal with that?
Oh yes. Your own, of course, I am saying your own purchase order, but you can put it in dollar or convert it in Indian rupees. Your choice. You have a world's all possible currencies available.
Okay.
So yeah, no. But the thing is this. Here is where the currency, foreign currency issues comes up at the time of transaction. Because you have to get the correct exchange rate.
Right.
Okay. And there is an exchange rate because at various points you will be having different currency things and there will be exchange rate. And that will have to be eventually recorded in the accounting system because accounting system usually has a P&L at the end of it, which will be correct foreign currency corrections. Right. There is one. So that is handled by the system, right? I mean, you have
yeah. And recording purchase orders or sales order by this doesn't affect anything. It affects in accounting at the time of accounts. So when this goes while putting an invoice, I'll show you how it affects. Suppose I go and create a invoice in foreign currency. Let's take this invoice. I'll not save this, but I'll just show you. The moment I select something like USD, suppose this invoice I'm issuing to client in USD, it will ask me conversion rate here. And then if I put this, it knows the conversion rate in accounting. Our base currency is INR. So it will convert and put receivable by this factor into receivable account in Indian rupees. Okay.
But hang on. So this is a problem because this is not at the master level. This is at the invoice level. So what happens is, say for example, the exchange rate. There is an error in putting the exchange rate because it's a manual. I've seen this many times that there's either it is a decimal error or of course it can happen in anything, but there's a decimal error or something like that, and the whole thing goes completely wrong. So in that we had done once. I remember this is an SAP. I think we had done that. Oanda is the company that we have something that we used to get into, and we would only get because. Otherwise, what will happen is that each person will take a different rate depending on which website he goes to, and causes confusion. So there has to be a standard foreign exchange which will automatically populate this. So that is the thing that I was used to in the past. I was wondering what you do.
Yes, yeah. There are APIs. Currently, we have not integrated with them. But yes, there are APIs that they will pull from there. But again, we missed one important point, that approval. So this invoice will go for approval actually. And how that approval works, let me explain you that. So I'll go to the settings. You can put an approval on every document. So let's take example of a purchase order. So I have a purchase order and I go here and I say I want to set up a approval on this. So you can have approval on invoices, quotations, everywhere. So approval, I say level 1. Say this is how I set up it. I'll remove of time being. Say I go here and say approval level, I want to add on this. So first a purchase order will be approved by purchase manager. So level 1 is a purchase manager. He approves it. Purchase manager is a role, and you can assign people to the role later on. Okay. Second is CMD, and while putting this, I can add a level. This is level 2. I'm saying only 10,000 rupees and more, it will come to the CMD. So conditional, and you can go on add as many level of approvals required as much. So you will have those invoices also. Somebody reviews that and then only it approves and gets into accounting. So this is how once you define it. So I have defined this now. Let me go back and show you how it works. We haven't seen. I'll quickly convert one of the requisition into purchase order, and let's see how it works. Okay. Okay, so now I'm completing a sales order. I'm just issuing it to one of the supplier, due days, GST details added. And if I save this in draft mode, you might have noticed earlier I finalized invoices myself and everything I finalized, I went to the more and said finalize. Now I don't see that finalize button. Instead I see a submit button. The reason is that there is an approval on this. Nothing will happen in system by saving as a draft. When I submit it, it goes for approval. Please approve as discussed. And when this is submitted, this purchase order has gone for the approval as per the setting I did. Now the status is pending approval. I can't change anything. Everything is freezed here. And I can see where it has gone for approval. So I can see it is gone for pending approval with purchase manager. If I click on that purchase manager, I see this guy is the purchase manager. When this person logs in, of course, when you submit an approval, he gets an alert here, like this purchase order is assigned for your approval. He gets an email also. But when he log into the system, on my approval, he will see this as a pending approval. Now I'll click on all approval. I can see this purchase order coming here. He can view as a PDF document how that purchase order looks like. He can approve and reject it. He can reject it here. He can approve it. He can send it back, that update terms and conditions. If person required, he can view the previous approval details. And if required, he can see attachment if there's a supplier quotation copy, blah, blah, blah. Now I'll go ahead and approve it. So the point was that nobody punches in the data as it is in the system. It goes through proper approval and validation. Now, once it's approved by the manager, it went to the CMD. And I, as a CMD, I'm approving again.
Okay, we understood this. Now, there are a couple of more questions. Now, for example, we import something, right? The same thing is true. What you explained us in the POA is in dollars, right? Same thing is true for the import as well.
Right, correct.
Correct. No? Okay. Yes. Second point is this: whatever data, can it talk to Tally?
No.
No.
Yeah, because the Tally do not have API. We have integrated GST. For GST reason, we have integrated with ClearTax that you can upload all your purchases directly to the ClearTax. Because they have an API and we got into partnership with them.
But
but your accounting module, once you start going into the accounting module, it is complete, right? I mean, it is like Tally or hopefully better, right?
Yes, it is complete. Right now also, it is good getting all the data is getting into accounts
Okay.
automatically. For
So,
example, you enter invoice, it creates receivable. You enter a supplier bill, it enters payable, and you can do the manual entries like cash received,
Yeah, but
payment.
can we export that data, accounting data into Excel? Okay.
So yeah, we can export into Excel sheet, but again, there is an issue with formatting. So that what we can export, Tally doesn't understand, or what Tally understands, we don't know.
we have to map it.
Yeah,
Okay.
field by field. I mean that. Otherwise, you can see everywhere we have an import and export available. I can download my invoices in CSV format, Excel sheet format.
Mhm. At some point, so basically what you're saying is that if we are able to, if we decide to go ahead with this, first, number one, you said that we should do it in phases. So we start the sales inventory and the CRM first, and we basically start that, and then we keep the accounting in Tally and uh, um, production also in whatever.
Correct.
Right now we are just nothing.
That's right. Yeah.
But then we gradually bring this being, and once we bring the accounting in, then from then on, accounting will be in this module. But
That-
we will have to somehow phase the Tally out because there will be so many AR, AP that is ongoing that has to be closed out, hopefully in the original system.
Understand. That's why the Tally account module should be brought in the last module, and you'll have to run it in parallel for one financial year, and then once you are comfortable that okay, everything can happen here and we don't need that system, you can phase out Tally at some point.
Okay.
I think we are through, Suraj and Ganesh. We understood the capabilities of ERP. By the way, what is this TORC? What is TORC? The logo I'm seeing in the left-hand corner.
That we just added as a demo purpose.
Ah,
Somewhere
okay.
you can upload
Okay.
Any logo, company logo, as per your
Okay.
choice. So you can
And this you are working. Where are you working? Are you on a T1 line or something?
sorry.
Are you on a T1 line where you are getting like unlimited bandwidth or?
Yeah, no, unlimited Mbps speed. I think nowadays most company give this just 1500 rupees, and we have around 100 Mbps speed. But for ERP to use, you just need 2 Mbps minimum.
Okay. Last question. Does it have a mobile application for CRM?
So the responsive place it on mobile as it is. I'll just demo it immediately. Say suppose we are on mobile, and this is how it would look like. That left hand side will get tucked in automatically. You can use these modules. Even suppose you have to create an invoice from here.
No, the INA. Do you have it already, or is it going to be?
Yeah, it is responsive site I'm saying, and I'm showing you right now. You see on the screen.
It is there.
Yeah, so every field will be on its own, so you'll be able to use it from your mobile device, any mobile device.
Okay.
Oh, what you're saying is that
Responsive website.
it is just a responsive.
Yeah.
It's a responsive. So you didn't need either.
It is not an app, so it is responsive website. So therefore, it will be limited with the bandwidth. Meaning that there will be a certain amount because everything will have to go back and forth.
Okay. Do you have a service module in this?
Service is what,
After sales?
yeah, so we don't have a full service module like you can do a what we say, like job card and all, but we do have you have stock items and you have services items. Meaning what? And also you can, suppose you get a support case, you can record a case, you can assign it to somebody, they can work it on, and you can get reports around. But there is no job card or something like that.
So let's say some complaint comes, okay?
Oh.
How do we register and assign it to the
Yeah, you
concerned?
can create a complaint. A complaint comes, you create a complaint, you put the detail, you can assign to the people, and then you can manage those cases. You can assign to people. And you have a history of a complaint, whether it's open, closed, and report around it.
Okay.
So it is basic case management, we say. Support management is what we call.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we are through with this.
All right then. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ganesh.
Okay, so yeah. So further, then how do we take it further? Or
Yeah, we will revert to you by next week. Okay, we'll discuss and revert.
yes, not an issue.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Singh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.